Coming up on Network Africa. At least 13 people killed, 30 others injured in Somalia's suicide attack on military registration center in Mogadishu. Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan warned activists from neighboring Kenya not to meddle in her country's affairs. Plus, the World Health Organization formally adopts the world's first pandemic agreement to ensure countries work together for effective prevention, preparation, and response to future pandemics. Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olange. Investigation is underway in Somalia after at least 13 people were killed and 30 others sustained injuries in a suicide bomb attack. This rocked a military registration center in Somalia's capital city of Mogadishu. Dozens of abandoned shoes and pieces of clothing scattered on the ground on site to depict the horror the incident left behind, even as medical workers at the Somali Sudanese hospital treat patients who were injured. The unidentified attacker reportedly detonated explosives outside the Zero de Mayo military center on Sunday morning. He was disguised as a civilian. Recruits waiting to register near the center are believed to have been the target of that attack. The Al-Qaeda-linked armed group Al-Shabaab, which is based in Somalia, has claimed responsibility for the attack. Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan is warning activists from neighboring Kenya that she will not allow them to meddle in her country's affairs and cause chaos. Her comments come after prominent Kenyan lawyers and rights campaigners were deported, preventing them from attending the court case of opposition leader Tundu Lissu, who was charged with treason. President Samia says if they had been contained in their country, let them not come to Tanzania to meddle. Let's not give them a chance. They have already created chaos in their own country. Human rights groups are concerned that the Tanzanian government is increasingly cracking down on the opposition ahead of elections in October. On Monday, the leader of the main opposition, Chadema Party, Mr. Tundu Lissu, appeared in a magistrate's court after being arrested last month. The case was adjourned to June the 2nd after the prosecution asked for more time for investigations. The United Nations top court is backing Equatorial Guinea in a row with Gabon over 3 islands in potentially oil-rich waters. The two Central African countries have been arguing over the Isles of Conga, Mbanye, and Coco Terrace since the early 1970s. The islands are virtually uninhabited, but in a maritime zone thought to contain significant oil deposits. The International Court of Justice ruled that Equatorial Guinea's claim, based on a 1900 treaty dividing up French and Spanish colonial assets, should be honored. The court dismissed Gabon's central argument that a more recent treaty, the 1974 Bata Convention, had switched the island's sovereignty in its favor. In a final and binding ruling, the ICJ has said Conga, Mbanye, and Coco Terrace were held by Spain and then passed to its former colony, Equatorial Guinea, at independence in 1968. Back here in Nigeria, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, is advocating for the adoption of a single air transport market among African countries. Speaking during the 18th Banjul Accord Group plenary meeting in Abuja, Mr. Keyamo explained that the adoption of the policy will increase connectivity, reduce transit points for passengers, amongst others. Also present at the occasion are representatives from Cabo Verde, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, among others. Our correspondent Kumbi Aboluade reports.
Nigeria is hosting the 18th Banjul Accord Group plenary meeting, and representatives from member states such as Cabo Verde, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone are all present in Abuja. The Banjo Group was set up in January 2004 to harmonize civil aviation policies and promote international aviation cooperation among member states. The host, as well as other participants, believe this essence has not been defeated.
Nigeria, with a deep sense of pride, gladly hosts this 18th plenary, which further serves as an opportunity to not only reflect on our collective achievements, but also renew our focus on the challenges ahead. Challenges that stem from infrastructure gaps and personal shortages to emerging safety risk and an imperative of digital transformation in aviation.
It is gratifying to note that as a group, we have been able to further the dreams and aspirations of the founding fathers. However, our existence as a group and its agencies is under threat by serious funding challenges, which we must address as member states.
The National Assembly is not left out as it looks beyond the challenges.
From a legislative perspective, we will focus on the following. A, enhanced regulatory frameworks for safety and security. B, improved safety oversight and compliance with ICAO standards and best practices.
Nigeria's Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development canvasses for the adoption of a single African air transport market.
I want to highlight the urgent need to implement the single air transport market, otherwise known as SATAM, for the benefit of our sub-region and the entire African continent. Achieving this requires our collective resolve not only to implement SATAM, but also to make conscious efforts to address the issues of non-fiscal barriers, including the high cost of travel within the region.
Mr. Keyamo believes the adoption of the policy by member states will enhance intra-Africa connectivity and reduce transit points for passengers. Kumbi Aboluade, Channels Television News.
All member states of the World Health Organization, WHO, have formally adopted by consensus the world's first pandemic agreement announced at the United Nations health body. The agreement aims to ensure countries work together for effective prevention, preparation, and response to future pandemics. The landmark decision by the 78th World Health Assembly culminates more than 3 years of intensive negotiations launched by governments in response to the devastating impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and driven by the goal of making the world safer. Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, WHO Director General, says the world is safer today thanks to the leadership, collaboration, and commitment of member states to adopt the historic WHO pandemic agreement.
Truly a historic moment, as you would agree with me. Even in the middle of crisis and in the face of significant opposition, you worked tirelessly, you never gave up, and you reached your goal. In 2024, WHO coordinated the response to 51 graded emergencies in 89 countries, outbreaks, natural disasters, conflicts, and more. We deployed and delivered urgently needed specialist medical supplies worth $196 million to 80 countries. We deployed 89 emergency medical teams, supported more than 67 outbreak response deployments, and much more. We helped to bring cholera outbreaks under control in 27 of 33 affected countries, leaving only 6 in an acute phase. With WHO support, Rwanda and Tanzania stopped outbreaks of Marburg virus disease, and Uganda stopped an outbreak of Ebola, including a vaccine trial that began within 4 days of the outbreak. We helped to stop an outbreak of wild poliovirus in Africa, but the number of cases detected in Pakistan and Afghanistan rose from 12 in 2024 to 99 last year. 10 cases have been reported so far this year. In response to a resurgence of polio in Gaza, WHO negotiated a humanitarian pause for a vaccination campaign that reached more than 560,000 children. Increasing hostilities, evacuation orders, shrinking humanitarian space, and the aid blockade are driving an influx of casualties to a health system that's already on its knees. People are dying from preventable diseases as medicines wait at the border, while attacks on hospitals deny people care and deter them from seeking it.
The First Lady of Lagos State here in Nigeria, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, has presented professional kits comprising scrubs and crocs to nurses and midwives in Lagos State under the Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, of the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. During the presentation ceremony, Dr. Sanwo-Olu says the distribution of professional kits from the First Lady of Nigeria shows her commitment to improving the quality of lives and promoting the standard of healthcare services across states and Nigeria at large.
A goodwill message.
Stakeholders from the health sector, nurses, midwives, officials of the Lagos State Ministry of Health converge on the banquet hall office of the First Lady in Alausa-Ikeja to witness the presentation of official kits to nurses and midwives in Lagos State under the Renewed Hope Initiative of the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. The initiative cuts across the 6 geopolitical zones in the country, and the wife of the state governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, is here to carry out the task on behalf of the First Lady of Nigeria. The State Primary Healthcare Board, who is receiving the working kits on behalf of the nurses in Lagos State, commend the efforts of the federal government in uplifting women, children, and vulnerable through the Renewed Hope Initiative.
It is also aimed at strengthening, through partnership and investment, the primary health care centers, which are the closest to our people at the grassroots. And it is only on this basis that we can continue to reduce the maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate, neonatal mortality rate, all with all this efforts that we are in launching today.
Today's event is not merely a presentation of uniform and footwear. It is a visible affirmation that nurses and midwife efforts matter, that they are seen and they are valued. This intervention strengthens their identity, boosts their morale, and reinforces their professional pride, especially at the primary healthcare level.
Wife of the Deputy Governor, Oluremi Hamzat, emphasizes the importance of equipping healthcare workers with essential tools that will enhance maternal and child health.
Please use them effectively to continue delivering quality care to our people. Let this occasion serve as a reminder of the great work that lies ahead of you. While we celebrate today, we must also recommend ourselves to continuous improvement in service delivery, community engagement, and accountability.
Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, who also serves as the Lagos State Coordinator for the Renewed Hope Initiative, applauds Senator Tinubu's visionary leadership to improving maternal and child health outcomes nationwide.
The First Lady of Nigeria, using the 6 geopolitical zones, is using this platform to distribute 10,000 scrubs and kits per political zone. So 6 times 10,000 means 60,000 scrubs and 60,000 props that she's distributing. So each state has 10,000. I mean, each geopolitical zone.
Professional kits comprising scrubs and crocs have been donated to nurses and midwives across the 6 regions, with each region receiving 10,000 kits to support their vital role in healthcare delivery.
Let's take a break now on Network Africa. Still to come. Golden Girls go for the goal as Kenyan seniors prove it's never too late to shine on the football pitch. Please join us again for more details. Welcome back to the program. Orthopedic surgeons play a critical role in treating injuries and disabilities that affect both productivity and quality of life. Yet, across the African continent, there remains a concerning shortage of these specialists. The South African government has now highlighted the urgent need for investment in training, medical infrastructure, and retention strategies. In this context, Channels Television sat down with Dr. Agbazwe, one of the few spinal surgeons in Johannesburg that specializes in both uniportal techniques and advanced procedures. He brings us this report. Innocent Samosa, our correspondent.
Global Health reports Africa is facing a critical shortage of orthopedic surgeons. Born in Ambra State, Nigeria, and now based in South Africa, Johannesburg, Dr. Dennis Agbazu is one of the continent's few highly skilled spinal surgeons. He shares insights on the growing gap in orthopedic and spinal care across Africa and what steps are needed to close it.
Well, you know, orthopedic surgery is a highly technical field. It's got high level of innovation. It's going on very fast because it requires the use of implants. Okay, the training it's hard, it's difficult, it's expensive to train orthopedic surgeons. And when you move on to the spine field, it's even worse. People are scared. It's not only the patients that are scared of spinal surgery, including the doctors.
Dr. Agbazu explains the significance of uniportal spinal surgery and how it differs from traditional open procedures, particularly in terms of recovery time and patients' outcomes.
Uniportal endoscopic spinal surgery, it's a kind of endoscopic or camera-assisted operation where you make one hole and you use a camera that it's 3-in-1, where you have the camera going through, you have an inflow of saline or fluid, and you walk also through that same channel.
He also speaks about the urgent need to improve orthopedic care in Africa through investment in training, infrastructure, and retention of skilled professionals. We had the opportunity to speak to Dr. Agbazu's patients.
Yeah, they must be, because they know more than us now. They are more updated with this stuff. Yeah. So with the illness, you can't do nothing about that.
Oh, the process went well. It was okay. It went well. The doctor, the nurses, everything went well. I was so nervous before I go to the theater. But when I arrived there, I arrived in the spirit. There comes the spirit inside of me saying, no, you are going to be fine.
As the demand for orthopedic care continues to rise, there's a growing call for African governments to invest in healthcare infrastructure and training to expand access to advanced minimal invasive spinal treatments that restore mobility, relieve pain, and improve lives across the continent. From Vaal in South Africa, Innocent Samosa, Channels Television News.
Well, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has arrived in Washington, D.C. for a high-level working visit aimed at resetting and revitalizing bilateral relations between South Africa and the U.S. Touching down in the U.S. Capitol on Monday afternoon, the South African government website says the president was in high spirits as he greeted members of the media with a warm smile and a wave before proceeding to his hotel. The visit is set against the backdrop of a rapidly changing global landscape and comes at a time when both countries are exploring opportunities to redefine their engagement. He will be meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday. In the meantime, South African authorities say they will continue with legal proceedings against Nigerian televangelist Simothy Omashaw, who was acquitted of rape last month, even though he has left the country. Mr. Omashaw, who denies the 32 charges against him, was accused of sexually assaulting young women from his church in Port Elizabeth. The National Prosecuting Authority, NPA, says it will still appeal against the judgment, which found Mr. Omashaw not guilty, saying his presence is not required. South Africa's Department of Home Affairs said Mr. Omashaw had flown to Nigeria from OR Tambo International Airport. He was first arrested back in 2017 as he attempted to leave South Africa. In a statement, prosecutors say they accept that there are no legal grounds to prevent Mr. Omashaw from leaving the country following his acquittal. However, if the appeal were allowed, the authorities say they would apply for Mr. Omashaw to be extradited back to South Africa, highlighting South Africa's bilateral extradition treaty with Nigeria. Marking the International Day for Women in Maritime, Somalia is highlighting the important role women play in developing the country's sea-based industries and the need for their greater participation. Back in February 2023, the federal government of Somalia, with support from the United Nations, launched the Women in the Maritime Sector, a national action plan which aims to enhance and empower Somali women in the maritime sector by increasing opportunities.
Today's event is not only a celebration, it's a call to action. The voices, talents, and aspirations of Somali women must be recognized and included in our national maritime strategy. We believe that sustainable development and gender equity go hand in hand.
Today's gathering at the hangar in Mogadishu marks an important milestone to showcase how far we've come, from developing project proposals to supporting national action plans, and to recommit ourselves to ensuring the momentum is sustained.
One of my proudest moments was when we were organizing a beach cleanup campaigns. A lot of people come together to clean with us, to empower and encourage our movement. And that was really an important moment in my career in founding Seeker Somalia. It makes me feel happier day by day, and it helps me to continue the impactful work I was doing for my nation, Somalia.
Celebrating International Mother's Day in Kenya, the country is celebrating it in a unique way with hundreds of Kenyan women aged 50 to 75 playing a football tournament held by the Kenya Grannies Football Federation, and it's to celebrate and promote a healthy lifestyle for seniors. At the Tambak Technical College in Iten, the Grannies battled it out on the football pitch and celebrated as the winning team claimed the title. President of the KGFF, Elizabeth Keitani, says the project was first designed to boost an active lifestyle for senior citizens, and this was after a report from the World Health Organization said an alarming percentage of the global population was physically inactive. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, have successfully aided the return of 41-year-old Adiola, daughter of veteran Nollywood actress Jumoke George, from Mali. Adiola was found in Mali recently after she was sold into slavery, unable to make her way back home. Her disappearance first came to public attention when her mother revealed the distressing news during a talk show interview. Adiola had been missing for 4 years. Following the interview, the talk show host, Biola Adebayo, reached out to NIDCOM, who then reached out to the acting Nigerian High Commission in Mali to be able to facilitate Adiola's transportation back home to Nigeria. Chairman of NIDCOM, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa, welcomed Adiola, advising citizens to learn from her story. She's warning others to resist any temptation of any supposed job offers in Libya, Mali, as it all journeys to slavery. NIDCOM is also reaffirming its commitment to protecting the welfare of Nigerians abroad, especially those facing distress, exploitation, or abandonment. And that's it on the program for today. Thank you for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde.